For all such people, I just have a suggestion.
Yeah.
You're not in a relationship with anyone else. You're in a relationship with yourself.
Oh, this is Sangat ka asar.
Welcome back to the third video of our World Mental Health Month series. Joining with us today is Hvovi Bhagwagar ma'am, a psychologist and psychotherapist. Today, we are going to talk about relationships and dating. So students in college spending so much time doston ke saath, they're spending time with other girls, they're spending time with guys. It's inevitable for them to, catch feelings. So for today's video, we're going to do something a little different. आज हम खेलने वाले हैं relationship red flags, where ma'am will tell us if the statement that we're saying is a red flag in a relationship or it's a green flag. It can pass.
So I must tell you whether this is a red flag or green
Or
flag.
a green flag. When my boyfriend or girlfriend constantly likes to tell me that I'm perfect or that he or she is lucky to have me. Why do you say that, ma'am?
Big red flag. I know it doesn't sound like one, right? Because we'd love to have a partner who says, oh, you're so perfect. What happens if you're not? What happens on a day when you don't look perfect? Or on a day you have a fight with your boyfriend? Or on a day when you do something which is very human, like gossip about somebody or, maybe cheat? What happens then? So I think this is a myth. First of all, none of us are perfect. Second is, if the expectation that our partner has is for us to be perfect, puts too much pressure on us. So, and in a relationship where there's pressure and we can't be ourselves, that's not a relationship that's healthy. So a partner should be there to tell you, oh, I love you and I'm here for you and you're great and everything else. But the idea is not that you're this perfect person I'm holding on a pedestal and you need to be there. If you fall from that, that's not okay for me. So according to me, that's like a big red flag. Yeah.
Reminds me of Elizabeth Browning's poem, Love Me for Love's Sake Only.
Yes. Very correct. Absolutely.
When my boyfriend or girlfriend tries to push my physical boundaries in innocent ways, like tickling or, just pinching a little bit, it's a red flag?
Absolutely. That's because no means no. And when no means no, it starts there also. When I say no, this is my body, and I don't like this touch, then that's no. And if a person can't take no there, then I wonder whether it will go into other domains where no is not taken and not taken seriously. There are a couple of short films, if you see, on YouTube that have spoken about how the partner crosses boundaries in Indian scenarios because, oh, you didn't say anything, but the girl always says, but I said no. I said I don't want this. And a lot of males have a lot of difficulty understanding this because they feel that no should be either aggressively said or the person should get angry. But think about our culture where women are told to be very passive. 80% of women are passive. They don't want to make others angry. They don't want to be looked at as angry. So they don't say no very assertively. But the minute that word is used, that's it. That's the boundary. And whether it comes to something as simple as tickling to as extreme as a sexual act, no means no.
When my boyfriend or girlfriend loves to talk about all of his or her exes.
Think about putting yourself in his shoes. How would you feel? You'd feel great, right? Because you're talking about your exes and saying, oh, I went out to this restaurant with my ex and what memories it brings back. But I mean, you have to be empathic to see how it makes your partner feel. Right? You might be feeling good, reminiscing about all the good times, but your partner may not. So it's in a healthy relationship, there is always empathy. Empathy means and compassion, where you step into the other person's shoes and see how they feel.
Right.
So there are boundaries in that also. And exes shouldn't really be discussed like this.
Most definitely. When my girlfriend doesn't like to talk about our fights or bring them up.
Because this is a typical relationship problem. It's called stonewalling. It's one of the, you can say, deaths of a relationship. So when a partner suddenly turns cold and doesn't want to discuss or talk or just keeps quiet, right? The opposite person feels like, okay, they're not saying anything, and maybe it's the end of the argument. Some partners may go away thinking, chalo, theek hai, they've not said anything, it's fine. But, stuff that's not spoken about in the end will come up in the next fight,
right?
The next time. So if somebody is stonewalling, they're just shutting down, they don't want to talk about stuff, you have to assert yourself and say this is not acceptable. So if your partner is overwhelmed and doesn't want to talk at that point, it's okay. But you need to say, take your time, but we need to come back and discuss this. And so
Definitely.
bring back the topic at some point of time, because this is how relationships get eroded in small, small ways and then become big things later on, which can even lead to breakups.
When my boyfriend or girlfriend behaves a certain way with me, but a completely different way in front of my friends.
I don't want a Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde with me when I wouldn't want to be dating somebody like that. So I would like this person. In fact, we build trust only when we see consistency, no?
Right.
If we see a person who's like a weather vane where their moods are swinging up and down, then we can't trust that person. Similarly, if a person is really horrible to us in private, but then is so sweet with us, we don't trust that person. And that kind of a relationship will leave us feeling, first of all, it will make us feel like we are gaslighted. That's a term where we feel our perceptions are all haywire because the opposite person is making us think we are cuckoo. We've gone bonkers in the head. So if they're treating us badly in private, but in public they're speaking nicely about us, that's a form of gaslighting. That's a form of saying, there's something wrong in the way you are thinking. Oh, I'm this nice person. See, I treat you so nicely outside, even if I'm treating you like shit in private.
Person, yeah.
But this is bad, this is wrong, and it shouldn't happen in a relationship. And if someone does that to you, whether this is an intimate relationship, it's a friendship, it's happening in a teaching profession, parenting, anywhere, call it out.
When two people in a relationship disagree on things, but they're okay with it.
Big green flag. How nice if they don't get along, but they are all right. Because, I mean, two people are different.
Right.
And the reason that they're together are because they are different. Like my husband and me cannot ever see eye to eye on anything. Clothes, food, but our values are the same. So I guess if we disagree and we're okay with that, we'll find some compromise. And I think in a healthy relationship, that is required.
Definitely.
But we don't grudge each other for our disagreements. That's important.
When two people in a relationship choose to share all their social media passwords with each other.
I'll hold both up. I'll tell you why. Yeah.
Okay.
So this sounds like it's healthy, right? Because we say, oh, there should be honesty in a relationship. So yeah, there's a green flag there because people like honesty in relationships. They like openness. They don't want secrecy. So in a way, that's great. But it's a red flag also, and I'll tell you why. Is that when couples come to me for therapy, and let's say the two of us are in a partnership, and I give you all my passwords. Are you going to see my accounts with my knowledge, or are you going to use my passwords and probably look at all of the stuff when I'm not around?
Not,
yeah,
right.
You're going to misuse this privacy and misuse my let's say my private life in some way, and you're also going to misunderstand, because if I'm not around to explain to you a particular chat or a context, or why I have posted something on social media, or why I am talking to a certain group of people, you're going to assume things wrongly in your head and then carry that on. And that's what, creates those seeds of suspicion and doubt and hostility, which partners don't want to openly talk about. Because say I've entrusted you with my password, sometimes it is just tokenism. I don't expect you to go and see, but which partner is not going to do that? You are going to go and see, right?
Definitely.
My social media accounts. And then you don't want to go and tell your, your partner that, oh, I have gone and checked behind your back. So you keep it inside. And then you get hostile, and then you keep trying to get, find out why my partner is talking to so and so.
So it's a red flag, but it's both.
It's both, yeah.
So that was the end of our game of relationship red flags. Ma'am, I'll just take your flags back.
Yes, sure.
So we won't be needing those anymore. Our next game, small game, is called the simplest solution, where we have gotten problems from our listeners. तुम में से ही बहुत सारे लोगों ने अपने अपने problems भेजे हैं, और इन्हीं problems को मैं मैम को पूछने वाला हूँ, and ma'am, you have to give us the simplest solution to it.
Okay, I'll try.
I'm stuck in a situationship. It's not a relationship, but we still have feelings. How do I get out of this?
So it's interesting because I just wrote an article on situationships. So I know that situationships in the long run become problems. They are all nice sounding on paper, because you can then decide you don't want to tag your relationship in a particular way, you don't want to give it a name.
Right.
You don't want to have people harassing you and asking you, are you in a relationship? But we humans are not designed that way. Unfortunately, our brains are not designed that way. Our brains are designed for consistency, for collaboration, for commitment. And without these things, we feel very at sea, and we feel very restless.
Right.
So situationships may be okay if, let's say, that both the partners are maybe shifting out of the country in some time. So temporarily they just want to be in a relationship for some kind of occasion like that, but not in a long term, not otherwise. And either of the partners will get upset and feel sort of hollow after a bit.
I relate to that for some reason.
I saw that.
I'm dating someone new, but I still miss my ex. What do I do?
It's human to do that. It's human because every relationship that we have, we take something of ourselves and give that. We also leave something of ourselves behind in a relationship. It's very human to happen. And it's also human to compare in your own mind that when you move from a relationship where there has been so much investment and you move to a new one, you will compare, okay, I felt like this with the older partner, I'm not feeling this way with the new one, or this new one is better than the old one. It's so human to do that. The point is, how adult are we about it, and how logical and rational are we about it? We don't want to go around telling our partner and comparing them openly and to their face, right? And we want to work out these things in our mind so we don't make the opposite person feel awkward or insecure. As long as we understand it's human and it's our thoughts, and we don't want to impose those thoughts on somebody else, but we'll work them out on our own, that's an adult way or mature way to handle it.
I'm jealous of my friends who are in relationships when I am single. Is that normal?
Very, very normal. And why wouldn't it be? I mean, if I'm going to be, there are a lot of, teenagers who come to me who have had difficult childhood sometimes, and they've come from a very difficult relationship and broken up. And then all their friends are dating, and they are this one bichara poor alone person going for every party or outing or pub or everything with couples. And sometimes what also happens is that couples feel odd having this single person, so they're left out. And then they all go off. Yeah, they all go off somewhere alone on their own, and then, the single person. So naturally, there is a sense of jealousy, insecurity, feeling of, being the outsider somewhere. It's very normal, very normal.
For all such people, I just have a suggestion.
Yeah.
You're not in a relationship with anyone else. You're in a relationship with yourself.
Oh, this is Sangat ka asar.
That brings us to the end of our third video with ma'am, where we spoke about all these amazing relationships. And hopefully तुम्हें भी काफी बढ़िया advice मिली होगी from ma'am. Havovi ma'am will be joining us again in our next video. अगर तुमने पहले 2 videos नहीं देखे, description में जाओ, सारे links तुम्हें मिल जाएंगे. Join us next week.
Please watch these videos not just because it's Mental Health Week, but because we need awareness on mental health, educate others about mental health, and bust the myths about mental health, and take care of yourselves.
We will see you in the next one.